What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below. As usual, go get it. PayPal in the description box also. They asked me to put it up. I put it up. Touch yourself. Anyway, this video is entitled Using Kids to Keep a Relationship. This is something that was normal behavior when it came to marriages. You know, the reason why you stayed in a relationship is because you wanted what's best for the children. So it was a mutual basically understanding. You know, when kids get a certain age, you know, after a marriage, two people have grown apart or went their separate ways. In a marriage, they stayed together until the kids hit a certain age, and then they went their separate ways. You know, it was like, well, you know, because two-parent household and is what's best for the kids. Now, a lot of kids had problems and had, you know, breakdowns in high school and college because, oh, my parents broke up. No, you know, but that's just how it was. Now, what it morphed into was people who aren't married using kids to keep a relationship. Now, I'm gonna start with people who had kids together, and then I'm gonna go to people who don't have who are just single parents and they're trying to use somebody else to do this. So there are people who have kids together, and similar, very similar. What winds up happening is you might have a man or woman like, look, we have a kid. We need to do what's in the best interest of this kid. So we need to be together. And you have the man or woman on the other side, like, I don't want to be with you. And depending on how it normally plays out, if it's the man that wants to be with the woman, you know, you have some guys who might be as petty as to try to get the woman pregnant again. You know, using kids to keep the relationship. Because if she keeps having sex with the guy, and even though she doesn't want to be with him long term, he wants to keep the relationship after a couple of kids. I mean, you have more than one kid by one person that you don't marry, it's a double red flag, you know. So it kind of keeps you hitched to them in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? So that's one thing. The other thing that you know a guy might do is he might act like a little broad, and if you move on, he might, you know, always get in the middle of your relationships, you know, or try to cause confusion because he's trying to keep use the kids to keep the relationship, because, you know, and what I mean by use the kids, the reason he's using the kids as an excuse to mess up your relationships. It has nothing to do with you, and it has nothing to do with raising your kids. It just has something to do with he wants you. So the best excuse he can get between you and your boyfriend or whatever is my kids. So it's like, okay. Like on the other side, you know, you have these women who, you know, prime tactic is, you know, if you're not gonna be with me, you can't see your kid. You know, what winds up happening is, so the guy says, look, I don't want to be with you. Well, if you don't want to be with me, you know, you're never going to see this baby, quote unquote. You know, I'm going to put you on child support, and I'm going to say that you might be abusive. You was juggling the baby with a flamethrower, and, you know, I'm scared. You know, Your Honor, I don't know what he's going to do. You know, that type of thing. So you put the guy over a barrel where now he really don't want to be with you, but he want to see his kid. and it's like you using this baby to keep a relationship, and you know what you're doing really is telling about you as a person, right? So that's one way that you normally would see this happen. Um, the other way is not necessarily using the kid as you keeping away. The other way is you see them being a horrible parent to the kid, and I mean so bad that basically they're gonna be they're tanking as a parent on purpose and and doing so horrible as a parent that you got to step in and be the parent, and now it's so bad that you're scared to leave them alone with the kid, with your child, you know, with both of you guys' child, because you don't know if the child gonna make it. And what winds up happening is you resent them and you hate them even more because they're doing it for your attention. You know, they're not feeding the child on purpose. They're not clothing the child on purpose. They taking the child any kind of ways out on purpose. The child's getting sick on purpose. You're not taking, giving the child a good environment to be raised in on purpose. So, dad could come through and now mama could be in love with dad. Oh, I love you so much. Oh my God, finally you're here. All I had to do is starve this baby to death to get a hug. Like, it really is a problem. So, those are how these things go, right? And this makes you, really high key, not low key, high key, hate the person. So, another thing that happens when you're dating somebody who has kids or a child and you're trying to keep the relationship. I think on the guy's end, what's probably more normal is using baby mama drama for sympathy, And sometimes you really don't, and it's weird because sometimes with that one, you don't necessarily have to do much. Because if a woman sees the efforts you're making with your kid, they kind of fall in love with you because they see the efforts you're making for your kids and they see the drama that you got to deal with to have a relationship with your kids. So they kind of gravitate to you whether they want kids or not, or have kids or not. But ultimately it's the same thing because the kids wind up being used to keep the relationship because she might want to be with you because she feels sorry for how you being done. So by proxy, your situation keeps her in a relationship with you because she don't want you to be alone. Even if she could want you, but not necessarily want you like. It may be more sympathy than love or empathy than love. You know what I'm saying? The other thing is, if you have if you as a man create a homely environment, like she sees you interact with your kids and y'all doing things that you're a man, but you're a homemaker, and she's loving the homemaker vibe. I think indirectly because a lot of women aren't homemakers anymore, and to see a man as a homemaker for some odd reason is a turn on. Because whatever. But now she can be a mother on the weekends. So and you realize, so she falls in love with the kids. So even if you break up or stay together, the kids are the reason why she's in a relationship because she likes the homemaker vibe. So she might stay longer than, she might stay with you or stay longer than she intended to because of that. On the flip side, and I'm not saying, or in or ultimately she could resent you because, you know, of that also, because you can act like you're incompetent and ask for her help with everything, and she feels like she's helping you raise kids, but you might not want to have kids with her. You might not want any more kids, and you might not want to get her pregnant. So you're using her as a surrogate mom, and she not feeling that. She might love you, she might like the kids, but she not feeling that. I forgot about that part. That's why I had to go back, double back, get to it. On the other side, you know, you have what normally happens is you realizing that this particular mother's a bad parent. Well, no, I'll take this out. She's a good parent. I'm going to go with the good parent first. She's a good parent, but, but she needs help. And now you're there for help. But when you help, she goes on vacation. Like, she's right there with you, but she's on vacation. Like, every time you help her, she's taking a break. And now you don't have any breaks with kids that's not yours. And you don't have any breaks in a relationship that you didn't bring kids into, And every time you're around, she's on break. So now you begin to resent her because she's kind of low-key or high-key wanting you to fall in love with the kid so you could be there for the kid and give her a break. And that causes a problem, right? Because now it's like you could be a good parent, but that dynamic is not cool. Now, on the flip side, she could be a bad parent. And the same thing I said earlier. Like, you scared to leave her alone with her kid. And you realize even her family and friends have been through the same thing that you're going through with her. And they just stop helping. And she's going to use her incompetence as a way to say, if you leave, I don't know what I'm going to do. And, sometimes depending on the kid's age, kids become latchkey kids and they kind of detach from their mom because it's like, they kind of, and it's weird because when you see a kid at a certain age and they kind of give up on their parent, it's like, man, whatever, man. I'm done, man. Because the kids will be like, the kids will tell you, I don't even know why you with her. Like, I'm with her because, you. And I appreciate you, but she ain't going to never change, bro. So this is what happens. Some of the scenarios that happens when you use kids to keep a relationship. So I'm going to end. Take it as you may. We out.